admitted to the graduate school, got a full ride scholarship for 2 years as a graduate student.
Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, the TV reality show. Yesterday I will be checking on Kirk. Helps socialist realize he actually agreed that socialism is sucks. Yes, you guys know who is Kirk, and Kirk doesn't shy away in any debate. He answers questions according to what you ask him. He is ready to answer you. He is ready to debate. And you guys also know him very well. Yesterday, I will be checking on him. And I believe you guys are going to enjoy this and learn a lot about him. Yes, without wasting much time, let's quickly go to the video.
Socialism works for everybody.
Does it?
Yeah.
Where is socialism worked? Where is socialism worked?
You pay your income tax?
Income tax is not socialist.
It's not?
No. Well, I think it's way too high, isn't it?
Yeah, but socialism is where everybody pays in.
Why don't you, do you give more money than your income tax every year to the government?
What?
Do you give more than what the government asks you to give each year?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
A lot.
You give more to the government?
Yeah.
So you give more than what the IRS asks you to give?
Yeah.
You do?
Uh-huh.
So you think that, do you trust the government?
I don't take all the deductions that I'm entitled to. So
do you trust the government?
For what? Of course I do.
You do?
Yeah.
You trust the government that recklessly audits people they disagree with and runs inefficiently and has huge bureaucracies of nothingness?
I'm a retired federal employee, so I used to work for the government.
Which agency?
Department of Agriculture.
Okay. So do you think there's any waste in the food stamp allotment in the Department of Agriculture?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, so you do think government is wasteful?
Well, we have to do something. We're not perfect.
Well, that's a horrible argument to spend trillions of dollars having to do something, isn't it? You just admitted you worked for the Department of Agriculture, which oversees the distribution of food stamps, right?
And you actually, what I did was
part of what the Department of Agriculture does is
payroll.
You did payroll for the Department of Agriculture?
Well, for most of the government.
Okay.
We wrote 700,000 paychecks twice a month.
So did you know of any government employees that were not very good at their job?
I know a lot.
Did they get fired?
No, they hired contractors to do their work.
So, but did the government employees get fired?
What? Some of them did.
For not doing their job?
Yeah.
I find that very hard to believe.
We had a lot of people that got fired.
It's very hard under civil service protection to lose your job in the government bureaucracy. Very difficult.
If you go to the MSPB, you'll see that they have 90% approval rate for dismissing people.
Do you think government is too big?
Yeah.
Okay, then you and I are in agreement. We agree that there's inefficiency, and so that's our whole argument.
I'm saying socialism is what our government's about.
No, it's not.
It's not?
Part of the worst parts of it might be, but I reject those parts of government.
What parts? Income tax, welfare?
Yeah, that would be a good start. Food stamps are too much. Housing, urban development, Department of Education.
What about Social Security?
I don't think young people should be forced into paying something we're not going to see. Social Security annualized growth rates are lackluster at best.
Yeah.
The government takes 7% of our generation's earnings to subsidize older Americans.
Have you seen the homeless problem?
That's
Have you seen people that cannot work for a living, that have mental problems, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think there should be a safety net, but not a hammock. I think you'd agree with that. Define what you mean by socialism, though, because I think we might be.
Take where everybody pays in together. Where everybody pays in for the common good.
For the common good. So.
Yeah. This university here, how many people could go to school here if it wasn't for the government paying for it? Nobody could pay for an education.
Sure, there's private institutions that exist. Sure, there are.
Yeah, but how do they work?
Quite well.
Because of donations. They work on socialism also.
So if your example of socialism is college tuition that rises every year, that is run widely inefficient, administrators that are unchecked, professors that should be fired, then you and I have the same definition of socialism, which is something that doesn't work. So here's the whole thing is, I think government is far too big. It's gone outside of its constitutional intent and authority, and market-based solutions are far better for the well-being of its citizens than government bureaucracies are.
Yeah, but there are some things that have to be paid
Of course,
for
no,
by
I
the
agree with that.
public.
Police, firefighters.
Police.
But wouldn't you agree it's better on a localized level than a nationalized level?
What? Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we agree. So localize more government programs. Don't federalize them.
But you still have to have government, even if it's at the local level. You have
Sure, I'm not an
socialism.
anarchist, and that's not socialism.
Okay, but my point was that nobody here could go to school if they had to pay for all the costs.
They do pay for it in tax. Somebody pays for it somewhere, whether it be taxes or the endowment or donations or tuition.
The alumni. You know who actually pays for school here?
The taxpayers mostly.
The sports program.
Well, and taxpayers. It is a publicly funded school, I would imagine, right? I mean, it's a
I
state
have a
school.
friend who was admitted to the graduate school, got a full ride scholarship for 2 years as a graduate student to study animation.
Okay,
So she wasn't paying a dime.
but somebody paid for it
Yeah.
at some point. Nothing is free. Somebody's paying for something at some point of the transaction.
Right, but they had money. It was socialism that somebody paid for. A lot of people paid
Right.
for it.
So I don't support that. I don't support other people being able to live on the well-being of the forced extraction of wealth from others. I believe for the paying of basic services, such as police and fire, roads and bridges on the most localized level possible, as well as the national military. Do I believe in the Department of Education? No. Department of Labor? No.
That's all socialism.
That's why I don't support it.
What, you don't believe that we should have roads? We should have private roads and people pay for them as they use them?
No, I believe as localized as you possibly can be. The Department of Transportation is a mess. It's widely inefficient. Doesn't work well at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you're making my argument for me.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that we still have to have socialism, even if it isn't
Okay, so
effective. You still
your
have to
your
have
example is social. So socialism is the government run of social utilities, essentially. The government use or the government monopolization of social utilities. And the worst parts of our society, such as the Veterans Administration, which runs horribly, is a socialist program. I mean, or whether it be our disaster public schools are a socialist institution. So that sucks.
Public schools really suck.
Yeah, and those are quasi-socialist government institutions.
Yeah, but they're poorly run.
They're poorly run because they're government run. So for example, do you think Catholic schools or government schools run better? Do you think Catholic schools or government schools run better?
I think Catholic schools are much better.
I agree. So that's a private institution.
But that's because people contribute to the church, and the church gives the money out. And
The
they don't
price
have all
the price per pupil to educate a student in a Catholic education in the state of Louisiana is about $8,900 a year. For the public education system is about $14,000 per year. Yet the Catholic education is a much higher quality, much more likelihood to go to college, much more likelihood to stay out of gangs, whereas the public education is the exact opposite.
But what you're confusing is qualified, capable public administrators who are pretty much elected by how much money they spend, as opposed
Yeah,
to,
I agree with that. Yeah, I mean that's my critique.
as opposed to people who are dedicated to their job.
Right, that's why we need more private institutions, such as Catholic schools. So we're in agreement here that the most dysfunctioning parts of our society are based in government control and the misallocation of resources.
Yeah, by the fact that we have really incompetent administrators.
But administrators will always be incompetent because they're run in an incentive structure that does not require competence for them to keep their job. That's why markets work, because the incentive structure is for good ideas to continue, and the lack thereof will be the termination of their services, or people will stop going there.
So what happens to the people who are incompetent, who can't do a job, who can't work? Should they be thrown out the street? Should they
No, they should be taken care of by churches and community members and individuals.
Socialism.
No, that's voluntarism. There's a difference between socialism and voluntarism. Giving money to church is not socialism. A synagogue helping poor people is not socialism. A mosque doing a food shelter, that's voluntary charitable transaction. Socialism is the involuntary extraction of wealth to fund social utilities.
But anyway, these charities are run by groups who accept contributions.
Individuals, though. Individuals that are all voluntary. Socialism is involuntary.
Yeah, you have to work together as a culture.
You know, but someone could leave the church. You can't leave the government extracting wealth from you. There's a difference.
You can leave the country too.
Of course you can. Yeah. Well, actually you can't. Some socialist countries you can't. In Cuba, they'll kill you.
Yeah.
So you can't.
What about Russia? What is Russia?
Russia is a crony fascist dictatorship now.
It is?
It's
not a republic?
No, Russia's far from a republic. They might want to call them that, but they're They're a plutocratic, cronyist fascist dictatorship now. Putin is basically president for life. Their democracies are a sham. The oil and natural gas reserves are owned by an oligarchic, plutocratic class that is far from a market-based system.
Capitalist.
It's not capitalist, no. You know what the core part of capitalism is?
What?
A neutral court system that allows the adjudication of differences. Russia does not have that at all.
They don't?
No.
They did.
No, their court system is a joke.
Okay, but they do have a court system.
No, that's right. That's why I said it has to be a neutral-based court system. That's a fundamental part of markets,
Yeah, they do have socialized healthcare.
which does not work very well at all
Why not?
because socialized healthcare doesn't work.
Well, why doesn't the program in Russia work?
Because socialized healthcare doesn't work in general, and it definitely does not work in Russia.
But if you don't have any money and you get sick, you can go to a doctor just the same. Here, I need to have my eyes fixed, and I can't afford to go see a doctor.
But if you walk into an emergency room, they have to take care of you.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Throw you out.
It's called the Hippocratic Oath. They have to.
No, they don't.
They have to serve you.
I've been to the hospital, in the emergency room, and they went in, they ran some blood tests, determined I had a serious blood problem, and they showed me the door.
In violation of the Hippocratic Oath.
Well, what could I do?
So what were you diagnosed with?
I had a blood level pH of 6, and they said there's nothing wrong with that, just get out of here. I went to my doctor and found out, yeah, this is very serious.
So what would be the prescribed treatment of that?
Determination would cause the pH of 6.
Well, but if they can't determine what it is, then a treatment can't be applied.
Then why are you going to the emergency room?
That's what I'm trying to ask. If you can't figure out what's wrong with you, there's no treatment.
You just die?
No, tell me what's wrong with you, then you can make an argument. I mean,
Yeah, I told you I had a pH level of 6.
so how do you fix that? How do you fix
I
that?
don't know, they didn't tell me, they showed me the door, but they said anything.
That's because there's a lot of contributing factors to that. Some could be genetic, some could possibly not be fixed through surgery or through
But
treatment.
in Russia, you go to a doctor and you have a bad pH level, they don't show you the door, they treat you.
Now, how do you treat a bad pH level?
I don't know what causes it.
No one knows. There's widespread scientific disagreement on what would. It could be diet, it could be genetics, it could be all those sorts of things. But in Russia, they wouldn't have a special treatment for that any more than anyone else would.
Yeah, they do.
What's the treatment? What's the treatment?
They have a hospital you go to and they treat you.
You said you just went to the hospital and they didn't have a treatment.
There's treatment here.
We have better healthcare than they do in Russia, trust me.
Okay.
Oh yes, welcome back, guys. Welcome back. This is quite interesting. This is very, very, very interesting. Yes, he really schools the old man. Yes, he teach him what socialism is all about and the meaning of socialism. I don't think the man will ever agree to come for a debate or question and answer with Charles again, because I think he has learned a lot. When you come for a debate and you will be schooled by someone that you have come to debate with. Yes, one thing I like about Charles is his confidence, answering questions, not like looking at paper, with anything on the paper, he just answer. Yes, whatever you want to ask him, he already knows the answer. And I think I love that. Hey guys, I think you guys learned something from what he's saying. You guys have also learned what is socialism. Yes, what is socialist? You guys have learned it because actually he schooled the man that came for the debate. He teach him so much. And me too, I have learned one or two things from this debate, and I so much love it. All right, guys, I want to use this opportunity to beg you, please subscribe for more video like this. Subscribe and follow me because I'll be posting more video like this right now. See you next time. Bye.